Hey guys, Patrick Nine, the EXP Realty, part of the Johnson Group, here with Brandon Giebler from Next Move Realty. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm, doing fantastic, bumping and grinding, you know what I mean?
There you go. Now, it's supposed to be freezing cold tomorrow morning for the parade. Are you still going, or are you watching in the chair?
No, we're going to go, but I'd rather it be a little bit chilly rather than being sweaty in your clothes. Listen, if you're going to go down there, you're obviously going to drink a little bit, so you're going to be warm from the inside.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha. Okay.
It'll be more comfortable.
Okay, I understand. And it looks like we got hello, y'all, in the chat already. Thank you for watching. Hello, y'all. Really, really, really appreciate it.
No.
And on today's video, we are joined by Michael McCord, Democratic nominee for Buddy Carter's soon-to-be vacancy. And we want to say we are bringing these soon-to-be elected or elected officials to you so you can have a conversation with them. It's not about us. We want you guys to ask the question. We want you guys to engage. So if you got questions, put it in the chat. Once again, though, be respectful. No cursing and all that stuff. Please, please, please.
Oh, not a nominee, a candidate.
Candidate. Sorry, candidate.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So tonight, so tonight on the Market Sip, we're joined by Michael McCord, who's running for the Congress in Georgia's 1st Congressional District. Michael comes from a working class background. He spent much of his career in manufacturing, logistics, and small business before later working as a small business consultant. Look at you giving back already. After moving to Savannah area, he says he felt like he was called to step into the public service and run for office. He describes himself as a blue dog Democrat, focusing on the fiscal responsibility, economic opportunity, and representing the working families across coastal Georgia. So, welcome, Michael, to the Market Sip.
Hey, Michael, how you doing? Thank you for coming on the show. Really, really appreciate it.
Pretty good. I appreciate you talking into existence, calling me the nominee. We're gonna keep that rolling.
There you go. So before we get started, why don't you tell everybody about yourself that don't know you and why you decided to run?
I kind of rethinking about this whole running thing every day, so I don't know. But my name is Michael McCord. I'm originally from upstate South Carolina. Grew up in a pretty rural town, not outside of Little Whiskey, called Abbeville, South Carolina. Was raised by my grandmother, primarily put myself through school, working in manufacturing. Moved to Savannah about 6 years ago after a pretty nasty divorce, and here I am. I visited one time and put my house on the market in Greenville and never left. And then traveling around the district, that story is not very uncommon, to be honest. So there's something about this area.
So why did you decide to run?
Well, at the time, there was only 2 other individuals running when I was looking at the race. And then when Buddy Carter stepped out, I'd worked in politics for years on the backside of things, running campaigns, fundraising, crisis management, all that stuff. I looked at who was running. I looked at the demographics and then did some analyzations and talked with some people. And it looks like the right kind of Democrat can flip this area with the growth we've had, especially in Bryan and Long and Liberty, some of the fastest growing places in Georgia. And I think a lot of things is just going to where the voters are and the messaging. And right now with rural healthcare and tariffs and taxes, and I'm seeing the tariffs affect my small business clients on River Street daily. Thank God the Supreme Court got that right. So that's the pause for now. But yeah, there's a gift shop on River Street, and he was ordering these little voodoo doll things from Britain that he was normally paying like $2 or $3 for and selling them for $8. But the damn tariffs were more than he was paying for the product.
Oh, wow.
So you can't really make a living, that way, because there's only so much you can mark something up. So.
Okay. So that's why you came in the race. Okay. Great. All right. Before we ask you your first question, let me play this video real quick.
Marshland and schools.
We know that there are
nickel refinery. We just think a geographic location in marshland is the wrong place for it in the U.S.
West Wind, a company less than 5 years old, plans to refine nickel. According to the EPA, exposure to a nickel refinery's dust can increase the risk of lung and nasal cancers. But it's not clear yet what harmful material could come from this proposed plant. This is the aftermath here. Many people upset. You can see the line waiting to talk to the CEO of West Wind. A major question that was asked tonight was what would happen to the facility if a hurricane came.
And to be clear, for 120 years, nickel carbonate refineries have operated without a negative impact to the community and without a catastrophic failure.
But nickel refining is rare in the United States, with most production done overseas. One Richmond Hill resident says he's concerned the company hasn't been around long enough to prove it has adequate safeguards in place.
I think a lot of stuff seems like it was being shielded, like questions weren't allowed to be answered, and it was a lot of talking points on their side and trying to control the time and not letting any real answers out.
Do you feel like they're listening to Richmond Hill?
I think they face a lot of opposition.
I think Haley Long is the CEO, isn't she?
Yes.
So she's got lots of good things to say. Nothing.
Yeah.
So in coastal Georgia, we're seeing a lot of major industrial proposals like the data center in Port Wentworth and the nickel refinery in Richmond Hill. Do you believe that large industrial projects like these should be required to cover the full infrastructure, utilities, and environmental costs they create, even if that slows down the economic development?
Well, first, on the West Wind issue, Richmond Hill has spoke loud and clear. They don't want it. The Development Authority has pulled out of even negotiating with them, and the company's shady as hell. They're under several lawsuits from Oklahoma. There's no safety records. There's nothing. And I went to some of the meetings in Richmond Hill. It sounds like she lies more than she tells the truth. Now, as far as to answer your question, yes, I do think there needs to be some type of. You need to be a good neighbor if you come here as an industry. You need to upgrade the infrastructure. You need to not have the issues that we're having with Hyundai with some of the well water and stuff out there. I think we can have the growth and the industry, but we need smart growth. And we need to realize that every industry is not made for this area. Like, I don't think having a nickel refinery near waterways and schools in Richmond Hill, high risk of being hit by hurricanes, I don't think that's a good idea. So yes, I do think the industries that come here need to put in upgrading the infrastructure so they don't do damage on the citizens here. Like, obviously we want good paying jobs here and we want high paying jobs here, but we don't want every job, and we want good industry partners. We don't want just someone that comes in and gives us all this fluff and they're gone in 5 years.
Well, the thing is I think they said that they're going to build it. They're going to buy it anyway. Isn't that the truth?
That's the last I heard, that they were still trying to buy it, but I know the county has pulled out everything, and then the county was looking at some zoning things. So hopefully, I mean, even the zoning that they applied for doesn't even apply for what they're doing there. So, yeah, that particular one's very shady. And I went to some of the Development Authority meetings. There's a candidate running for state senate out there that's done a far better job than anybody in the media. His name's Corey Foreman. And I would suggest anyone to go look at his page. And then there's actually a Citizens Against West Wind group on Facebook. Like, the people of Richmond Hill and Bryan County are not playing about this.
Okay. All right. And let's catch up in the chat a little bit here. We got Hello Y'all is here, but let me just say hi to everybody that joined. So hello y'all. We love you. Savannah's favorite food enthusiast, Tony's here. Thank you for joining, buddy. We got Jennifer Johnson. We got Jerry Brake, Henry.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on, everybody. So Hello Y'all says, how do you propose that you will provide automatic enrollment for VA benefits upon discharge from the military? The backlog is insane. My husband and I are military veterans.
Well, that's a good question. I don't necessarily have a great answer for that, because the whole that whole system needs to be revised. And what I mean by revised, I don't mean by privatizing. But automatic enrollment, I mean, it should be as simple as, this is going to be your discharge date.
Yeah.
I mean, we have computers now. We're not in the Stone Age. It should be as simple as just clicking a button and you're enrolled. I do think we need to do a better job of educating our veterans what benefits they qualify for and how to use them. As I've talked around the district, talking to veterans, there's not really a lot of that available, and they don't even know what they qualify for. And also the mental health aspect of it. I had a veteran tell me he had to tell him he was suicidal just to talk to somebody and had to wait 3 weeks, even though he wasn't. And then we need to expand the Choice Act so we can treat for normal primary care stuff, like going for a strep throat or a broken finger or something. They should be able to go to any doctor and establish that primary care relationship with a doctor, not having to drive to Charleston or emergency care or something else, because that primary care relationship, there could be a problem that doctor's noticing that me and you go to. If you're going to a VA and seeing someone different every time, they may not have noticed it. And so I think we need to expand that as well. We can use the VA for, major surgeries and major procedures, but if it's just something as simple as strep throat or needing an antibiotic, their insurance should be able to reimburse a doctor just like Medicaid and Medicare. We have the channels. We know how to do it because we do it with Medicaid and Medicare every day. Doesn't seem that far-fetched to be able to do it with the VA insurance as well.
Okay.
VA doctors aren't as good either.
Well, it depends, right? They all could be good, could be bad. So this is a video of you talking about rural hospitals. I just want to play that real quick.
Medicaid cuts to go into effect, and that is my main reason for getting in this race, because I believe I can win it, and I believe we can save rural healthcare in Georgia, and I believe we can save those communities. And then the second question is, what's at stake? I think there's lives on the line, because like we talked about earlier, the only trauma center in Chatham County, and basically this area down in the district, is Memorial, and it's a trauma one center, but it's 45 minutes away from a lot of places in the district. If you have a bad car wreck on Highway 80 coming off Tybee, or God forbid a shark attack or whatever, heart attack, whatever has you, the time from the ambulance to get there to get you to, the trauma one center, you might likely die. Or if you have a stroke out, somewhere between here and there, and that 5, 10, 15 minutes is recovery time that you can't afford not to have. I'm glad I've got better speaking throughout this campaign. That was pretty rough.
I can relate. So rural hospital closures are one of your main talking points. So what specific federal actions would you push first for Southeast Georgia hospitals and clinics?
Well, first of all, we need to readjust how Medicaid and Medicare is dispersed for rural hospitals serving under 50,000 people. Because right now, most rural hospitals, most of their funding does come from Medicaid and Medicare. So we need to reinstore the Medicaid and Medicaid cuts. Also, the big, beautiful bill, one of the few things that did get right, there was a lot of money allotted for block grant for rural hospitals. I think we need to expand that by about $50 billion to we need about $100 to $110 billion a year just to block grant those rural hospitals, so they don't have to be profitable. And that's the main issue we see now, is these rural hospitals are fighting to stay profitable, to keep the doctors and keep the equipment in place. Ackland Hospital, for instance, I was meeting with the lady out in Baxley, and she said her husband died because the hospital didn't have heparin, which is a very common blood thinner. So we shouldn't be having those issues in the United States of America. And we shouldn't have people in Jessup having to drive to Savannah to see a cardiologist. This is just not, things are not how they should be. And the money's already there because this administration has allotted it. So if we restore some of the Medicaid and Medicare cuts and readjust how that funding allotment is done for those rural hospitals, I believe we can at least prop them up and get some stabilization care. I mean, obviously, we're not going to have a trauma center in Baxley, Georgia, but that facility should be able to stabilize you and get you to Memorial. And right now, we're not seeing that in a lot of the rural areas.
Okay. All right. Just go back to the comments real quick. Savannah's favorite food enthusiast says, nice pup. We love a good doggo. And then
he's the campaign mascot. So.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one to have. I'm telling you, people love dogs.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Jennifer says that company is all bad about the nickel. And then, so before I read this next question, I'm going to play this video real quick.
To really flood our elections. And what we've seen since then is not just an exponential rise in money in our politics. That is absolutely true. But it has also caused gridlock and dysfunction on every single issue that is a pressing priority to the American people. So whether you want Congress to address climate change or gun violence or lowering prescription drug prices or grocery costs or you name it, the gridlock and dysfunction and the inaction on each and every one of those issues can be traced back to the money that is causing that gridlock and that dysfunction. So what we've seen is that the American people have really lost faith and trust that their elected officials are working for them. They feel like their voice doesn't matter, that they're being drowned out. And you know what? They're not wrong.
So Jennifer asks, my question is, who finances you? Who finances you? Are you a billionaire yourself? And do you take our PAC money or fair share AI or dark money?
Definitely not a billionaire. I'm a thousandaire. I live in a $300,000 house in Midtown Savannah. My truck's 6 years old and I still pay payments on it. I think the most expensive thing I have in my house is probably the dog. So
you're expensive.
Definitely not a millionaire. All of my money has been raised from individual donors to clients. Yes. And my dog has better health insurance than I do. But all my money has been raised by individuals. We've taken one PAC donation for $250, and that was the Individual for Free Thought Equality, and we aligned with their modus of keeping religion and politics separate. So no, we don't take any AI money. We're not taking any APAC money. We're not taking any dark PAC money. Now, with that said, we will take PAC money from organizations and unions and things we align with. I do believe that Citizens United should be overturned. I've signed that pledge. But I also think that us Democrats need to face the reality of the situation that we're in and not tie our hands behind our back, because the Republicans are taking PAC money. The Republicans are taking any money they can get. Now, I will not take any money that goes against my beliefs or what I stand for, but if I align with the mission of the organization, then I would take the money.
Okay, sounds good.
You got a lot of comments. You want
to I hit it. Go ahead.
Okay. So you talk a lot about the ports and the roads and the broadband stuff. So which infrastructure project in our district should be top of the federal list for you?
Honestly, at this current moment, upgrading our drainage and stormwater systems. And we saw the flooding in Bryan County. We saw the flooding in Effingham at the horse farm. We see it in Savannah. Yeah. We see it in Savannah on a normal rainstorm. And the state and the municipalities cannot fix this now because we've had so much growth come in that we need the federal dollars. And it's our money. I don't understand the stigma about taking federal money. It's our tax dollars. We need a representative that's going to bring our tax dollars back to the district. I was on Isle of Wight the other night, and this lady was talking about her yard flooded for the first time in 50 years that she's been there because of all the construction. And it goes back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the, industry question. Like, all the industry we have coming in should be paying to upgrade some of this stuff. But, right now it's build, baby, build, and we deal with the issues later. Well, that's why homeowner insurance isn't going up. That's why property taxes are going up. That's why we have all these issues now, because we haven't had anybody advocate for these things. And now we're at a kind of a breaking point. If we have a Katrina level hurricane or something come through here, we're screwed. I mean, we're screwed. We're one bad storm for catastrophic failure of our infrastructure systems. So we got to focus on that. Obviously, we need to do some of the wetlands and restore some of that. Tybee has to go through restoring the beaches there. We need to help them with that. And then even with the fair FEMA access, I mean, people are still waiting on payments from Helene. And that was almost 2 years ago, if I'm thinking correct. that's unacceptable. So, I mean, that's where we need to focus at. I mean, obviously, all of those things on the screen are important, but I think, fixing that will definitely help a lot of property, a lot of damage. It could save lives. I mean, if you have a heavy rainstorm or high tide on Tybee, you're not getting across 80.
Well, I think it was yeah, definitely you're trapped. But I can't remember if it was Michael or wherever. The back of our neighborhood never flooded, and I guess storm surge and the storm came at the same time. And the back of my neighborhood in Paradise Park was flooded, and they'd never seen flooding there before. So, yeah, you see with climate change, and like you said, in Pooler, where Brandon used to live, because they did all that new construction, just they get flooded all the time.
Yeah, so. I mean, Pooler Parkway is a prime example. A heavy rainstorm, and it's like same thing
Pooler
with
Park
the
perfect. Pooler Parkway is so perfect.
Depends on what time of the day and what the weather is. And I mean, just like the horse farm out in Effingham, that was caused by construction from the state, and I think they're still trying to get that resolved now.
Absolutely. No, I agree. All right, back to the chat. So we see all your chats. We're going to get to it. So Henry's said, "What's with the 4 mug shots? I saw something in Georgia Virtue as the Dem leader. I don't want the Republicans to have an easy attack when we as a district maybe have a shot."
Well, that's a very, very easy. I knew that question was coming. I have been arrested, so you got me. I've never been convicted of anything but a minor traffic violation, and I tried to explain that to the Georgia Virtue, and even offered her an interview with me. And I honestly don't think the Republicans are going to bring this up because there's nothing there. Several of my Democrat opponents are the one pushing this narrative, and I don't blame them because I'm kicking them in their teeth every chance I get. But there's nothing there, and I mean, I'll gladly submit my SLED background check, which is South Carolina's version of GBI. And I mean, that's it. Feel free to Google me. Feel free to look. All that stuff's been taken down because the state of South Carolina was forced to do it. We thought all of this was removed before I got in the race. I don't think anybody that actually has 4 convictions in this violent, crazy criminal record that's trying to be spun would actually run for Congress. I sure as hell wouldn't. And I also don't think Republicans have a really leg to say on when the president of the United States is convicted of 39 felonies. So I don't think my minor discretions when I was in college and going through a divorce are really going to hold much water.
Okay. Before we get to the next question, we're going to play this quick video.
Millions displaced, billions of dollars.
What is happening with this slide? Hold on. I'm sorry, guys.
Just because you have me, on, nothing's going to go correctly.
Billions of dollars spent, the war expanding across the region. The U.S. military says 13 service members have been killed. Tonight, President Trump renewed calls for countries that rely on oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz to send warships to secure the shipping route. The strategic waterway now largely blocked for oil exports. CBS's Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv and leads us off tonight. Charlie, good evening.
Good evening, Jerika. Tonight, President Trump is calling on countries from the UK and France and Japan, even China, to help keep open the Strait of Hormuz, that vital shipping lane, as Iran tries to strangle the flow of oil from this region. Thick black plumes of smoke rose into the sky above the United Arab Emirates, the major oil port of Fujairah, in flames as the Gulf states bear the brunt of a war they didn't start. President Trump said a U.S. bombing raid totally obliterated military targets on Iran's Karg Island, a key oil facility, while leaving its energy infrastructure untouched. Iran, in turn, threatened to target U.S.-linked regional oil facilities. It's already attacked at least 16 tankers and other vessels. In Iraq, smoke was seen coming from the vicinity of the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad's Green Zone. We're also learning more tonight about some of the 6 American aircrew killed when their KC-135 refueling aircraft crashed in an apparent mid-air collision over Iraq on Thursday. Tech Sergeant Tyler Simmons, 28, of Columbus, was one of 3 Ohio Air National Guard members to have died, according to his family.
That's so sad.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I think we're up to 13. I think we're up to 13 fatalities now.
So with military families from Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield, even down to Kings Bay Naval Base that are living like in this district that you're going to represent, the war with Iran could directly affect these people here and all along the coast. So what is your position on how far the United States should go militarily in this conflict?
Well, if it was up to me, we wouldn't have gotten in the first place, but we're already in it. I don't think anyone disagrees that the regime there was brutal and should have been removed. But my only argument is, why is it our job? I thought we were America first, no new wars, no regime change. I'm old enough to remember when he said this running for office. I'm old enough to remember that Kamala Harris was going to get our sons and daughters killed, take us to war. So I don't think we ever should have got involved in the first place. Now that we're already there, I don't know what the goalpost is, because it's almost like we don't learn from history. I'm also old enough to remember 9/11 and Iraq and Afghanistan. And those military operations that they said were going to take a couple of weeks took 20 years. And then the exact people that we tried to remove from Afghanistan are back in charge again. So we don't have a very good track record with regime change and winning wars in that area of the region. And to be honest, no nation in history does. France tried under Napoleon, didn't work. The USSR tried, it collapsed. And then we trained and armed the people that attacked us under Reagan for 9/11. So I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be here. And I don't foresee there being a strategic plan, because you have a drunk Fox News host calling the shots at the Pentagon. And it doesn't really seem that Trump knows where he's at or what day it is most of the time. And now he's begging our partners to help keep the Strait of Hormuz open. But shouldn't we have had that in place and those plans in place before we attacked? And this is typical Iran behavior, to shut that down anytime there's any kind of issue in the region. I mean, gas has went up almost 80 cents in 2 weeks. So I would have hoped we'd had plans and contingency plans for this before we went in, and obviously we didn't. I would have much rather let Israel handle this and defended them from incoming rocket attacks and missile attacks. And they already have all of our tax dollars. They already have all of our weaponry. They have free health care. They have free education. They have everything that Americans want from our tax dollars. So I would have much rather them fought their own fight, and we could have defended them militarily. Now we're in it. I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for it, because it seems we've stepped into a puddle of shit, and I don't know how we got out of it.
Well, it's going to be difficult, especially with the Strait of Hormuz. Without just, even if we back out, there's no saying that Iran's going to be cool with it. That you just blew up.
And then I thought we so at first it was eliminating nuclear weapons. I thought we obliterated that stuff back in the summer. If they've already back from being 2 weeks and 11 months, we need to hire some of their contractors, because they're doing a pretty damn good job. And if you look back, Netanyahu has been saying Iran has been 2 weeks away from nuclear weapons since 1992.
Yep.
That's a long 2 weeks.
I mean, that's a 30-year.
So I don't. And then we had a nuclear deal in place with Iran that stopped all of this from happening, but Trump couldn't stand Obama getting credit for anything, so he was going to throw it away and then negotiate his own better deal, but he couldn't get one in place.
This wasn't better.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Like, it's stupid. I mean, dead Americans. We've got 13 dead Americans for what?
Right. I think that's my biggest problem with everything. And I think, I don't know if, I'd gone to the Iraq war, and the Afghanistan war, I had friends die there, what I'm saying? And to see these 13 die, for we not sure what we're there for, it just breaks my heart, because I know, when I went to the funerals of these people and I see the families, they're crushed, obviously, for obvious reasons. Right, they're destroyed. I mean, I know when you go join the military, that's a risk, because that's part of the job. It's part of the life, and that's okay. But I just don't like an administration that just doesn't look at your life the the same way as I feel a president should. Like, it's valuable, and it's not something that should be just, oh, we might lose more, whatever has to happen. Like, what are we doing? That is my biggest problem with it. As a veteran, I just really.
And they're using the George Bush Cheney talking points all over. They're not even trying. Like, just tell us the truth. Tell us you want the damn oil, or tell us, you want to distract us from the Epstein files. Like, tell us something, but don't sit here and bullshit us again, because people my age grew up during those wars and 9/11 and hearing weapons of mass destruction, and then there was nothing there. We don't really have a good track record. The last time we successfully overthrew a regime and it worked was World War II.
All right. Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. But okay, so we're gonna go last time, and Lynn Gray, I'm gonna ask your question, then we're gonna move on from this one. Okay. So she says, in addition to DUI conviction in South Carolina, malicious injury to animals, personal property, injury value of more than $2,000 but less than $10,000. Can you explain the circumstances of the arrest, and was it injury to an animal or property, or how much did you pay in restitution?
Lynn Gray is one of my biggest fans from Brunswick, so I'm glad she's on and watching. No, an animal was not damaged. A car was keyed during an altercation in college, and I think I paid like $1,300. This has been 2012, Miss Lynn, so it's been a long time ago, so excuse my memory. If you look up that charge, it does read pretty dumb, but it's a malicious damage to personal property or / animal. No, I've never hurt an animal. As you can see, I got one rolling around down here now. The DUI, again, Lynn, we've been over this, was not a conviction. It was a traffic-only fine, which I paid. And then the screenshots that everyone keeps posting prove my point. I blew a .002. Legal limit is .008. I paid the fine. It's not even on my driving record. And fun fact for everyone out there, there are 30,000 people that were charged with DUIs, and once their lab work and breathalyzer tests were analyzed, they were found not guilty and charges dismissed last year. You can Google this. It is a problem. I am not perfect, and I've made mistakes, but I'm not going to admit or be made to feel bad about something I didn't do. And all of this is verifiable. I can send background checks and court transcripts or whatever people want. And I know this is the attack ad because people don't like a moderate Democrat that doesn't kiss their ass, and I'm just disrupting on both sides. But it is what it is. There's nothing there. There's a reason why the current or non-news agencies in Savannah have ran with this, even though Lynn and all of her supporters have tried to get it done, because there's nothing there. And it's this, I've went over this so many times. It's funny. I mean, if there was stuff there to this, it'd be all over the paper. I'm the top fundraising Democrat. I'm one of the probably top 3 that are expected to win. If there was something there, this would be in the press. It wouldn't just be on Facebook warriors and Facebook journalist pages. I mean, it seems like common sense to me, but apparently it's not.
Okay. We can smell the keyboard from here.
It's fire. It's firing. I'm telling you, it's firing.
Yeah. Jennifer's looking out for you, at least.
Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with what happened here in Savannah about a month ago, with the tragic passing of a teacher in our area. I go, Brandon, ask your question, please.
Yeah, so do you believe that the federal immigration enforcement tactics need to change to better protect the local communities?
I think we've seen, I think we're up to 6 unnecessary deaths directly contributed to ICE. Unfortunately, the one in Savannah was completely avoidable. I mean, if they would have just notified local cops that, hey, this guy's fleeing, can you go down the road and pull him over? It would have been easy. There's a reason why we don't have, in Savannah city limits, they don't do pursuits, because of this exact thing. And then why someone would have done a pursuit in that area at that time of day is beyond me. It just goes to show that ICE does have a role, but it needs to be revamped. I mean, we saw them murder an American on his hands and knees, executed him in Minnesota. Then we saw the Renee Good one, and devil's advocate. I think it was murder personally with that one too, but I could see the argument against that one. But it's unnecessary. Barack Obama deported more people than Donald Trump and Biden combined. And we never had these issues. We never had these mass raids in our American cities. We didn't have pursuits for ICE because he was deporting criminals and getting it done the right way. Tom Holman was Barack Obama's ICE czar. So we know it can be done correctly. But what we're doing now is not working because still Trump he's not on path to deport as many people as Barack Obama did. So why are we?
Yeah, calm down because you might try.
If it was done the correct way and done, we're going after criminals, we're going after gang members, we're going after all of this. Fine.
Everybody agrees with that too, by the way.
Yes, exactly. I don't understand why if you've committed a crime, you got to go. But if you crossed the border 20 years ago and you've run a business and you've been working, you have a family, and your only crime is a civil crime for crossing over the border, let's have you pay a fine. Let's get you legal status, not citizenship, but legal status. Allow you to pay that fine, and then we can revisit citizenship later. Because right now, what we're doing is not working. I mean, it's quite obvious.
All right. We're going to go to Hello Y'all again. She says, what is your opinion on gun violence prevention? Gun deaths are the leading cause of death of children in Georgia. Will you work with Dems in the Senate who proposed federal action on gun violence?
I'm not particularly sure what bill you're talking about, but I would work with any side of the aisle to try to combat that. I'm not in favor of banning particular guns because I just don't. They're already out there.
You're in the South. That's not good.
Yeah, exactly. But I would be in favor of common sense background checks, extending red flag laws like Florida did. And if we can get, if Florida can get that stuff passed, then I think we probably can get it passed in Georgia and nationally as well. Closing the gun show loophole, the Charleston loophole. Right now I can go to a gun show and buy a gun and there's no background check, no nothing. Or if you wanted to sell me your gun, you just sell it to me and no one knows where it went after that. So I think there are some common sense things we can do without infringing on the Second Amendment right. And then, quite frankly, I was kind of surprised that I had to defend the Second Amendment against the Trump administration because the guy that got killed in Minnesota was a lawfully carrying second. He was well within his rights. And Trump saying, well, you can't carry guns. Why couldn't he? He was registered with his state. He had a Second Amendment right to carry the gun. The gun was legal. They violated his First, Second, Third, and Fourth Amendment before they murdered him. Right. So that's why I call myself a common sense moderate, because I believe there are simple solutions to most of our problems. But if it makes sense, our government really doesn't seem to want to do it.
Common sense is not so common these days.
Exactly. And I don't think DC solves a lot of problems. I think they create more problems than they solve.
Well, it's because the money is involved, and the people that want to keep us confused and fighting and all this stuff, they make more. They're not affected by all these things that we're affected by.
Well, if they keep us divided and arguing about red versus blue, or then they're able to do whatever the hell they want to do. And we see there's a whole Epstein class. We have a prince that got arrested in England. We've had government officials in European countries had to step down. But who's been arrested here? What's happened here?
Well, what are you going to do about it?
There's been one.
I hope that it's solved before I get in there. But I think we need to have.
That's so cute. That's so cute.
I think we need to have a 9/11 style commission on the Epstein thing. And I know someone's going to ask if Bill Clinton is in the fucking files, excuse my language, and it's proved he's guilty, arrest his ass. I don't care. If there's a Democrat in the files, arrest him. Republican, arrest him. I don't care. If it collapses the whole government system, then so be it.
It probably should have already. Because we're not in a great spot right now, Mike. You know what I'm saying? So I just say, but it also lends to this: these people that are, what you would call the Epstein class or the billionaires, they're not dealing with what I'm about to show you. So I'm gonna show you this video, and then Brandon's gonna ask you a question.
about this, but like, how much money are we spending on groceries a month? I just went over our budget for last month, and our family of 4 spent $1,200 on groceries. And like, yes, that does include like household items like toilet paper, paper towels, like household items, but $1,200. We're not eating all organic. We're not eating like anything out of the ordinary. It's just like a normal American diet. Like what, like when did this happen?
How are we doing? How are we doing? Went to the grocery store. Let me show you what I got. It was just a quick run. Trash bags, a few command strips, only 2 pre-made food things, and 2 little Easter basket type things that I'm gonna put in, little magnets. That's it. That's all I got. $121.
I'm still so distracted by her beautiful hair. She's got good hair. She needs to tie that hair up and learn how to garden. She'll save so much money. Just saying. And don't buy all those command strips. Those are expensive.
The command strips are pricey.
It's her fault. It was so hot. I just kidding. But people in the Savannah area are feeling the pressure on rising costs, i.e. housing, groceries, and command strips, insurance, and everyday expenses. So what role should the federal government play in improving affordability for working families in the community like ours?
Well, first of all, I am a working guy. I literally got off work and rushed to get on this tonight. Unlike Jim Kingston and some of our Republican opponents, I don't even know what a silver spoon is, mine are plastic. First, we need to remove these tariffs. They're idiotic, they're dumb, they're not implemented properly, and we've saw a steady rise in consumer goods from that. Secondly, we need to look at places like Kroger and Walmart and all that raised their prices during COVID for supply chain issues. But I don't know if you guys noticed, the prices never came back down.
Oh, they're about to get a refund too when they sue.
Yeah, for the tariffs.
They get their money back, and we're going to be stuck. They're just getting double the money.
What's it called, Jennifer? Profit over life.
We really need to look at, okay, the supply chain issues are now. Why did the prices not come back down? And I don't think I know why it didn't come back down, but
right.
We need working class people in office that know what it's like to go to the grocery store and have to put back, your Folgers coffee, because it used to be $12 for the big thing that lasted 3 months. Now it went to $20 because somehow we decided to put tariffs on coffee that we can't make in America, and bananas. And you have Trump's Howard Lutnick, his economic advisor, said, well, if you just grow them here, you won't be no tariffs. Where the hell can you grow bananas in America?
In your garden.
Hawaii.
Maybe Hawaii. So, I mean, it's really just common sense stuff. Now, as far as the housing, I don't know how to tackle that, to be honest. We do need to stop. We do need to stop. Private equity firms. Yeah, we need to stop private equity firms from buying single family housing. I do think that'll help a lot. I just saw an article where BlackRock bought, I think, 30,000 single family homes all over America. You see American Homes down in Rice Creek or Rice Hope and Port Wentworth. Like, you have these really nice houses and they're all for rent.
25% of them are American Homes for rent.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. And then, like, for the gas, like someone who was budgeting $100 a week for groceries and gas goes up 75 cents overnight.
Game changer.
That hurts. Like, are they going to be, you're going to have people right here in First Congressional District decide, okay, do I eat or do I put gas in my car to go to work?
Exactly.
And, or you're going to have parents going without food while they're at work just so their kids can eat. And this is kind of personal to me because I've seen my mother make those decisions way back when. And it's just like ridiculous. And I don't think that the Buddy Carters and the Jim Kingstons of the world ever experienced this or had to worry about, do I need to call Georgia Power and get an extension? Or, hey, am I going to be able to afford to get that medicine filled? Because they just don't live that type of life.
When was the last time they went grocery shopping?
Exactly. Why do we keep electing people that don't know or represent the district because they're Republicans? I don't. we need to quit treating this like it's team sports. It's us versus them at this point. It's the billionaire class versus the rest of us.
No, I agree with you. And here's the thing I was saying is like I hate the way we look at each other, like Republicans versus Democrat. We're on the same team. It's like offense and defense. Like they're not hating each other on a basketball or football team. Like this is insane. Let me get back to the chat here because it's been going. So let me just read a couple. Okay, so
I told you it'd probably be pretty exciting.
Yeah, so we got Uma says we are so done with wars. Just got out of 2 wars. Jennifer did a lot of cursing, so I'm not going to read that one. 6. Jennifer says 6 are the ones we've heard about all the rapes and abuse over concentration camps. Over the top. I don't know what that is. Any candidate whose entire platform is one of attack ads rather than what they will do is one that does not deserve to represent the public in D.C. I agree with that. And Jennifer says the insurance companies need to rein in with their profit and no coverage BS and high prices. And Hello Y'all says, yes, my beer is more expensive. I mean, and they say prices never come back down. So yeah, no, I agree with you. So let's go to some Facebook questions that we had real quick. So here we go. So Tammy wants to know, we already talked about the super PAC and you want to abolish this. What's your stance on immigration and on DACA?
DACA should have been concreted into law a long time ago. And I think we should treat immigrants that have been here working. Let's say there's a Cuban Republican that has something similar, and I would love to work with her when I'm elected. But I think we should treat all immigrants that have been here, let's say a cutoff date of January 2025. We treat them just like we do DACA kids. You go get registered, your fingerprints are on the book, we do a background check, we verify your information, you show where you've been productive. You're not going to qualify for any federal assistance while you're in this program, but we're going to give you that work permit. We're going to give you your driver's license. We're going to allow you to be a functional American. Once you satisfy the criteria, you satisfy the fine being paid, say $5,000 to $10,000, and we're going to use that fine to support the program so American taxpayers aren't footing the bill. Then we can look at citizenship in maybe 5 to 10 years. But if you've been here and you've been productive and you haven't committed any crimes other than crossing the border, I don't have a problem with you being here.
Okay. All right. We got more questions from the chat. Brandon's going to read this next one. Here we go.
And you want which one do you want?
Whichever one you want, buddy.
Okay. All of them have been asked.
What? What about the Epstein file? Do you support impeachment, Michael? If
that's been,
huh?
We brought
you support impeachment because here's the thing: like they've passed a law, released Epstein files. We're not releasing them. They're just I don't understand what is going. I don't even understand how it's possible to not release them all, even though there's a law that says you need to release them. So if you get there and they still have not released the files. What would you want to do?
As far as
hope that it's taken care of already.
As we've seen, laws don't really matter to certain classes of people. Who are we impeaching? Is my question there. And then, but Pam Bondi for sure needs to be impeached. Attorney General, she's got to go. I was hoping that we could impeach Chrissy Nome, but Trump kind of took care of that for us. As far as impeaching Trump, I don't think he's never going to be removed from office. It's a waste of time. We can spend our time, fixing issues and fighting for Americans. If you do impeach him, you're going to just divide the nation even further. And we got to get to a certain point where we put this behind us. And honestly, I don't know if Trump's done anything that's impeachable because everything he's done, the courts have either backed him up or Congress has allowed it to happen.
You're impeaching a whole party.
confused when you say that because the law says to release all the files, and they haven't released the files. So I don't understand.
No, I agree with that, and that's why
that's against the law.
Well, that's why
They
Pam
didn't say release readable files. They said release the files. So
well, and that's why Pam Bondi needs to be impeached. But Pam Bondi is in charge of releasing those files, not Donald Trump.
Okay, I got you. All right, Lynn Gray wants to know, where did you attend college and did you graduate?
Yes, I graduated. I went to a small technical college in upstate South Carolina called Tri-County Tech.
He is so over you, Lynn. So
I am very much over her.
Okay. All right. And then, okay, so we read all of these already? Okay, all right. All right, so I want to ask you, you said you don't know, what you would do. Like, as in our market, we see that home prices, and you'll see the home prices down below ticking by, right? Actually, they're starting to come back to the median, right? But if you could wave a magic wand and fix some of the problems with the housing, what would you suspect that you would do?
I'm hoping the housing market is in a correction period and we get back to a norm. Now that is hopeful, but I do think, for one, we get, like I said, we get private corporations out of owning single family homes. That way we have more inventory available. Hopefully the market works as intended. And I hope when we get inflation situated and the economy situated, that the interest rates come down. Because when I bought my first house in Greenville, South Carolina in 2020, my interest rate was 3.9. When I bought my house last year in Savannah, it's 6 point something.
Don't be one of those. Oh my God.
I know. I regret selling my house because I had a bigger house with less of a house payment in Greenville than I have now. So it's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm not a big component of like federal overreach and the government getting involved in everything. I'm a free market capitalist as much as I am a Democrat. So the government does have a role in this, but as we see every time the government gets involved, no matter if it's healthcare or whatever, they screw it up. So I'm very weary of the government getting too involved in controlling prices, because then we get to be to a place that it's hard to get back from. But I do think the government can alleviate some of the strain on the system by eliminating the private corporations. Yeah, cutting some regulations that, there's some regulations out there that are not necessary.
Okay.
What about vouchers for education?
I do not think that public tax dollars should go to private institutions.
Okay. All right. So in May, it looks like the president is going to place a Federal Reserve chair in place that's probably going to end up printing a bunch of money. What's your stance on is he not going to do that, Brandon?
I mean, I don't know, but that's not a good idea.
I know, but let me ask you, that's probably what he's going to do. So let me ask you a question, Michael. What do you think about the Fed stepping in and printing a whole bunch of money to make houses more affordable?
I think it's dumb, and I think the 50-year mortgage is dumb, and I think we're going to run into a 2001 housing crisis again. It's idiotic, and then unfortunately, when Jerome Powell's term ends, Trump is probably going to have a yes man in the Fed, and once we lose that independency from the Fed and the White House, we're in a world of trouble. The dollar's going to lose value. We need that independence. That's why the dollar is the world currency, because we have that. And if we lose that, I don't think we get it back. And that's a very sticky issue, and I hope that the Congress steps in and tries to alleviate it somehow.
Okay. I'm going to ask you one last question.
Very slippery slope.
It's very slippery. So I'm going to ask you one last question. What didn't we ask you that you wanted everybody to know?
I want, especially Democrats on my side of the aisle, the lens of the world, to realize you don't have to like me. You can think I'm a smart ass. You can think I'm whatever you want to think. But I'm the only one in this race on the Democrat side that can win in November. And we need to quit treating this like a popularity contest and realize that if you don't have a moderate Democrat as the nominee, you're going to have Buddy Carr 2.0, which is Jim Kingston. And God forbid it's Candace Taylor, who thinks the world's flat. And I have a good nickname for her. It's called Tenfold Barbie. Y'all can use that one, by the way. She's Marta Taylor Greene on steroids. So we really need to quit treating this like a popularity contest, and let's feel good about who we vote for and look at who can win, who can build a coalition across 15 counties, because this election is not going to be decided in Savannah and Brunswick. It's going to be decided in Brantley, Waycross, Pierce, Long, those places that Democrats don't go. And that's where I've been campaigning. It needs to be a wake-up call. And like someone said earlier, Democrats have a chance at this. But if we run someone that's very liberal or not from the South, that chance is gone.
Okay. And actually, before we go, I'm going to ask one last question that came from the chat. Why do you think you can win, though? And why do you think you are the right one?
Well, partially answered that. But one, I've proven that I can fundraise. I'm the top fundraising Democrat in the fourth of the 14 people running. Two, I've worked the blue-collar jobs. I've lived in rural areas. I've experienced the struggles that I'm hearing from our rural neighbors now. I can go into Ludowici and get pissed off, disgruntled Republicans to vote for me. I can appeal to the independents on the right. There are not enough Democrats in this district for a Democrat to get elected. And I don't understand why my more liberal counterparts don't understand that. We need independent and disgusted Republicans, taking that from Jeff Duncan, to vote for us. And they will vote for somebody that has common sense solutions and talks like they do. I can go into Ludowici, I can go into Long, I can go into Midway, I can go into Freeman's Grove and talk to these people one-on-one. And we don't need someone that voted for Trump. There's people right now that voted for Barack Obama twice, that have voted for Donald Trump 3 times. And those people are saying, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. I can go talk to those people.
Heard that a lot.
And I can get them back because I'm a no nonsense, no bullshit. I don't hold punches. I'm, quite frankly speaking, just a normal working Democrat. I remember when the Democrat was for the working people, not black working people, not white working people, just working people. And, we kind of got a little elitist and a little too big for our britches. And that's why we lost to Donald Trump twice. And if we don't bring it back to the middle, we're going to lose again.
Where is the middle?
Hell if I know at this point. But right now, the house is on fire. And if we're getting bogged down by transgender sports or, if you're supposed to stop at the red light or go when it's green, you're not putting the fire out.
You go up until it turns red.
Exactly. But it's, that's the problem with the Democrat Party of today. We're trying to be everything for everybody. Let's get back to basics. We can get back into these social issues and these whatever we want to talk about later, but let's fix what's going on.
It ain't now.
People are hurting. People are hurting. People are struggling. And the house is on fire. We're at a 5-alarm fire right now. Like, squirting it with a spray bottle is not going to work.
The roof is on fire.
Well, if you guys are watching, I want to say thank everybody for the chat. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button. Share this if you like what Michael has to say. Share with people so they can hear his message too. Michael, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And good luck on your campaign. And like I said, please, you also share it with your people. And hopefully this helps you get elected. If you get elected, will you come back on?
Of course. I'll come back on even if I don't get elected.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it, Michael. And happy St. Patrick's Day. You going to be down there tomorrow? Uh-oh. Did we lose him? He left already. Did he leave?
I don't know. You have control.
It's all right. Did you hear me? No, he left. Okay, that's fine. Well, anyway, so like I said, thank you all for coming. I don't want you to miss out what we got going on next. For one, if you didn't see our schedule, we have got David Dilley coming on next week for Georgia House District 161, so you can ask him questions. Then on March 30th, we got Delfonso Daniels. He is also a Democratic candidate. And then we got Amanda Hallowell, also a candidate. So, and then Brandon's going to work on getting some Republicans in here, right, buddy?
Sure am.
But also, I wanted to let you guys know that I had a Huss video that came out. If you haven't seen the Huss video, please go check it out. We also have open house. Brandon, you got open house this weekend?
I do. So I'm doing one on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is going to be my new listing, which we're still trying to figure out the price. Definitely under $300,000, but it's a really nice house in Rincon. It's a 100 Westwood Drive in Rincon. Where's the flyer at?
I got all excited. It was St. Patrick's Day, and I forgot to load the stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to load it. I'm also doing one on Saturday in Rincon as well, from 11 to 1 at 515 Weiss and Baker. Look in the description down below on my page. You'll see the video to that house. If you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Rincon under $300,000, come check me out on Saturday. You got anything else, Brandon? What else do we got going on we're missing?
I mean, I have one on Sunday too at 120 Duke's Way in Georgetown.
There we go.
It's not under $300,000, but it's definitely a 3-2 in a really cool neighborhood in Georgetown.
All right.
But I'll be doing that from 1 to 3 as well.
1 to 3. Okay,
please
guys.
Don't leave me lonely. Please
yeah, don't let us sit there by ourselves. We want to hang out and talk to you. So come on by. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't tell you how much I really, really appreciate you guys. Jennifer, Uma, hello, y'all. Where's the one that
Food enthusiast?
Linda?
Lynn Graybill.
The savvy tourist. Thank you for coming in. Who else we got?
My mom dropped in at the beginning.
Yeah, your mom.
Thanks,
Thank
Mom.
you for coming. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Savannah's favorite food enthusiast. Who else?
Henry.
Henry. Thank you for coming in. So I really appreciate you guys, and of course, like I said,
Joshua
next
came in
week,
too.
Josh, thank you so much.
Thanks
And like I said, we're going to be doing this every week. So come in and check out your candidates. So when you go to the ballot box, you know who to vote for, as opposed to, you think you get Candace on here? That would be spicy.
Well, I'm going to get Candace Owens to come on.
Oh, there you go. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good St. Patrick's Day.
Be safe. Have fun.
Be safe. Have fun.
Responsible.